Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is April 28th, 2022. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one subject matter that I did not want to touch on, especially on social media, and, this subject matter that you touch on can sometimes get you, as they say, canceled out. And I kind of feel like I became a victim of that yesterday. I'm going to be getting into the title of this video, talking about the software and how I was able to discover this stellar core that we call Planet X orbiting our sun, and the work and the research that I've done that's enabled me to bring all of this information to light. But first things first, I know all of us have gone through so much over the course of the last 2 years specifically. I'm sure all of you are understanding where I'm going with this. And ladies and gentlemen, bear with me because I really have to watch what I'm saying and also my choice of words. But to begin with, I'm over here on the Planet X News YouTube channel homepage, and specifically right here at the community tab. And I shared some information a little while ago. It's in the middle of the night right now. Just couldn't sleep. And I said that I was going to be doing a live stream yesterday. And then all of this situation with myself arrived in my life yesterday. If all of you can kind of read what's on the screen, you'll start to understand what I'm talking about. So yesterday, myself and 13 other folks that I work with, and I don't want to mention the company, but this whole woke culture situation that's just literally surrounding the entire world now has caught up to me. And I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, I chose not to be vaxxed for many reasons. And the company, which is a global company that I've worked for years, they decided a couple of months ago to implement this 100% of all employees worldwide that work at their facilities be, that word right there. Right there. Don't really want to say it. A lot of people refused. They gave us extensions, another extension, and another extension to complete this process. I refused. A lot of other people refused. The facility that I work at, myself and 13 others were fired yesterday. Fired and led to the front door and removed from the premises. All because we refused this right here. That. I think that is absolutely insane. There is really nothing that I could do about it. But unfortunately, it has come, this dismissal, it has come at a very horrible, critical time for myself and Dr. Albers. You know, I have mentioned in just about every video over the course of these last several years, the medical issues that stem from mercury poisoning that Dr. Albers incurred from some old silver fillings, 8 of them to be exact, that were in her mouth and that were removed before she came to the United States, leaked mercury into her bloodstream. And they had been leaking for quite some time. And that poisoning has really caused a lot of major issues with her nervous system, her brain, and some motory skills. And that is one of the main reasons why she hasn't made videos for quite some time. And it's been affecting her life in a just an absolutely terrible way. We've gone through what they refer to as chelation treatments. A lot of you helped out with the costs associated with all of that over the course of a year. Very hard on her. Long story short, a lot of that did help, but unfortunately, over the course of these last couple of years, a lot of damage has been done to her nervous system. One of the only processes or treatments that can actually help her and prolong her life will be a stem cell treatment. And as I've mentioned many times before, it's very expensive. And we were able to get her set up for possibly mid-July. You know, and being dismissed from my employment yesterday because I would not allow something to be unwillfully injected into my body that could possibly kill me, has really created some emotional issues for myself. I've always been a strong character, but at this point, you know, the world has just become such a toxic place. As I listen to the daily news, it sickens me to see what this world is turning into. And on top of all of that, what's happening to the earth in general, the way that the climate is changing. You know, our weather is so erratic. Everything around us now has become super erratic. Even the people. But, you know, losing this employment has really put me in a very bad situation. I really now have my back against the wall. taking care of Dr. Albers on a daily basis, the supplements and they're really not medications, but the supplements that have been prescribed for her to take. All of this, just basic living expenses this has all just come to a complete end over a company wanting to, hit me with something that I don't want. So like I said, as of yesterday morning, they dismissed 13 of us that completely refused. And this was 13 people out of about 105 people work at this facility. So, it is what it is. My main concern is Dr. Albers' health and well-being. And I do have some job opportunities to look into first thing in the morning, but there is, there's a long process to get into some of these companies in my local area. I did not want to travel long distances. Number one, I wanted to be close to home, which, this past job worked out. Was only about 15 minutes from home in case of any type of emergency. And did not want to, drive into the city. It's just absolutely horrendous. And now the price of gasoline is insane. So that was another topic. Gasoline prices, food prices, utility prices. Everything is just sky high at the moment. And I know each and every one of you are probably feeling the hurt also in some form or another. But getting Dr. Albers the medical attention and this stem cell treatment is very important. So as I've asked and I've mentioned before, and I really hate to sound so damn repetitive, but all of you that have supported this channel, supported me and Dr. Albers, all of you have been a godsend, because at this point in time, I don't know where we would be without the help of a lot of you. As I've mentioned before, it has humbled me tremendously. You folks have no idea. And it's very hard for me to talk about it. But I have to do something. And I kind of feel it at one point in my life, I actually need help. I cannot sit back and watch a beautiful life just waste away. And a beautiful person that has given so much to the science community and teaching, literally teaching for 17 years as a professor, and I'm referring to Dr. Albers, teaching thousands and thousands and thousands of younger folks to enter into science and physics. I just can't sit back and watch her waste away. So if any of you, again, would like to contribute to her medical fund, there is a link in the description box under all of the videos, and also on this on the community link on the Planet X News YouTube channel. You could just click on the community tab and you could kind of read what I typed in there today. And it's actually had me in a very depressed mode, as you could all understand. So, since we've talked about this already, it's time to move into the subject of what is happening on our sun. We are in the very beginning stages of this solar minimum. And let's see here. I had a video that I put together here. And this is some of the activity on the sun over the course of the last couple of days. And I'm going to go ahead and replay it. It's easier for me to just kind of record these clippings and let them play. So I don't have to bounce around between websites. I'll go ahead and just open this up. And we're going to be looking at some of the different coronagraphs. And these are really crazy looking coronal mass ejections. Take a look at this. This is a massive, massive rope-like filament and plasma release. Tell you folks, you know, over the decades of researching the sun and watching these coronagraphs, examining these coronagraphs, I've never seen anything like that before. Never seen anything like that before. That's really kind of odd looking. But I'll go ahead and let it play. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just zip back here real quick. You guys can see it again. And that was just on the 27th, you know, hours ago. Large coronal mass ejection. This is from the LASCO C2. I put it in a slow motion so you guys can see it a little better. Just wild looking. Look at that. And what you're witnessing there is hundreds of thousands of miles stretching out into space. Now, that's not Earth-facing, so, you know, we don't have to worry about that. But the sun has become this wild, angry monster very, very early on in this solar cycle 25. The solar maximum. We are set to peak around 2025 going into 2026. And then as we progress into 27, 28, 29, we'll still have a tremendous amount of activity, but it is supposed to subside little by little by little until we creep into the next solar minimum. But to tell you the truth, folks, there's almost no damn difference than what has occurred going out of the solar minimum, solar cycle 24, into solar cycle 25, which would be the solar maximum. And I've expressed this and I've talked about it many, many times for the last few years. What the hell is going on with the sun during this solar minimum? Meaning it is tremendously active. Large coronal mass ejections occurring almost every single day. Now, we didn't have to deal with all of these sunspots creating even more activity. But now that we are into this solar cycle 25, solar maximum, the sunspots have polluted the sun, which creates even more activity, more coronal mass ejections, more X flares, more filament releases and plasma releases. And to top it all off, more radiation blasting the Earth. Now, you know how I've always talked about protecting yourself when you're out in the sun. Whoa, boy. Let me tell you, should have heeded my own warnings several days ago. Now, here I live in the about 20 miles south of the city of Pittsburgh. We've had pretty erratic weather. From a few weeks ago, snow and freezing temperatures, to temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s, then back to 45 degrees, blah, blah, blah. Well, we had a couple of nice days where the temperature hit 80 degrees, 82 degrees. And just like anything, you know, your grass starts to grow. You want to get out there and, do some weed whacking. And, the grass is growing so fast now. You want to get some lawn work done. So I figured, okay, I got about 45 minutes of work out there. And I did put a thin, long-sleeved shirt on, had some blue jeans on, had my work boots on, and went out there and did some weed whacking and ran the lawnmower, cut the grass. And I have an elderly neighbor. I cut her grass so she don't have to pay, $40, $50 to have her grass cut. So I did all that. Yard work. I was outside for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I came back in, and I had started preparing something for Dr. Albers to eat. And I happened to go change clothes, and, I ended up looking in the mirror, and I looked at my face. Well, my face was completely beet red. Then as the hours ticked by, I started to notice all on the top of my head, all over my forehead, around my eyes, on the edge where I had my sunglasses, my cheeks, my whole face, nose, forehead, everything, all blistered. And then as the hours went by, the blisters, they got worse. And, I don't know if any of you folks have ever had that, like sun poisoning or just sun blisters. They start to itch. And naturally, you don't want to scratch them, because then you could end up with, the scabs and a skin infection on top of all of the burning and the itching. So the very next day, we had another gorgeous day. But, I stayed inside, and my face kind of turned even more red. Now, I didn't have gloves on. And this is kind of weird, because the tops of each of my hands have little tiny blisters all over them. The tops of my hands. So that was the sun during the third week in April. So powerful, so intense, that it literally blistered my head, blistered my face, and the tops of my hands. So could you only imagine if I would have been out there doing that yard work, like some folks do, guys, they take off their shirt, or, maybe had a tank top on, or even a short sleeve shirt. I could guarantee that the tops of my arms would have been blistered, shoulders, back. So we definitely have something occurring out there. And we're not even near the summer solstice yet, where the northern hemisphere is really going to get a good dose throughout the entire summer, a good dose of the sun and what is happening there. You know, just because we talk about these sunspots and we talk about the coronal mass ejections and these sunspots with these X flares and all of the things that you're seeing on the screen now, all of these active regions, yes, they're 93 million miles away. Yes, Scott, it's just summertime. These things happen. You get sunburned. Folks, I'm Italian. I have like olive skin. I've been out in the sun pretty much all my life, lived in Miami for 22 years. Okay? I've never been burned up like that before. This happened to me last summer, but not as bad as this time. So, word of caution. Watch yourself out in this sun this summer. Watch your children, okay? Especially if you have younger children, especially if you're fair-skinned, and even if you're not. It's like radiation poisoning. I stared at myself in the mirror the next day. I couldn't even shave. Yeah, I couldn't even shave. These little tiny blisters, it's like about the size of one of your pores in your skin. I would have took a picture of my face and showed it to all of you, but I'm actually embarrassed at the way I look. It looks like I have some kind of disease. So you see, this is what we're faced with. And this is only the beginning. I mean, we really, really have to be careful, especially this summer. Last summer wasn't too bad. We did have a lot of activity, but nothing compared to what is happening right now, and it is only in the middle of the spring. And you know what? We had those 3 beautiful days. 3 beautiful days. And then the temperature dropped again. It's freezing. You know, low 50s, high 40s, low 40s. At nighttime, freezing. In the daytime yesterday, had a sweatshirt on. It was cold. Started the car up, had to turn the heater on. They issued a frost warning for my area for the next 3 days. So you go from frost warnings and freezing temperatures, and then a few days later, you're getting sunburned and blistered to hell and back. And as you can see on your screen, this is all activity on the sun that has occurred over the last couple of days. Coronal mass ejections occurring in many different areas on the sun. Some of them a little strange. The amount of radiation that is spewing towards the Earth, in my opinion, is increasing. That's something that we most definitely have to watch, have to be careful with. And again, when it comes to your children, whether they be toddlers or teenagers, if they're toddlers or young children, well, that's definitely your responsibility. Teenagers, folks, you're going to have to sit these kids down and you're going to have to school them on this subject. The rates of skin cancer are elevating each year. I can guarantee after this year, there's going to be so much sun damage. There's also the fear of what this radiation does to plant life, which is our food sources. So there's a lot that we're going to be watching over this entire spring, summer, and fall. And God only knows what the hurricane season is going to be like. It could be mild, it could be what they refer to as a normal hurricane season, or it can be absolutely crazy. So again, maybe some of you folks think that the space weather's a little boring, but folks, it's not going to stay boring. It's going to get very active, but not only because of this solar cycle. I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you from the years and years of research and investigating this matter, we're talking over a decade. I know, I feel deep within my heart and my brain that this stellar core object, again labeled Planet X, this damn thing is literally creating these very volatile areas on the sun. Yes, there would be normal coronal mass ejections. Yes, there would be normal sunspot development. This early on in a solar cycle that lasts 11 years, this is what we are already looking at. Why? Because the sun's activity has picked up. This object continues to orbit our star every 28 days. Like clockwork, like it has been since 2007, as it was being drawn in, sucked in by the sun's gravity. Just like all of the other planets in our solar system, okay? As long as an object, planetary object, stays in motion, orbiting the sun, it will not get sucked into the sun. Basically, the sun kind of puts it into that orbit. Now, last week, I started talking about how I made some of these discoveries. And I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this video here real quick. And I'm going to show you folks something that nobody has ever seen before. I have tried to be very careful in protecting my source of intelligence on how we are able to capture and reveal these photographs and reveal what is out there in the best possible detail using some really high-tech software. Software that is not available to me and you as the general public. me take a sip of my coffee here, folks. Many years ago, as I was studying a lot of the coronagraph images and also the images that come from the SDO, I made some phenomenal photo captures. Sometimes they weren't the clearest. And then it seemed like the data just dried up. Why did it dry up? Well, because I was putting hundreds of videos out, now up to thousands of videos on my YouTube channel detailing this evidence. And I was letting the cat out of the bag. I was showing things that the powers that be did not want all of you to see for some reason or another. Why? I don't know. Maybe they thought it would cause a worldwide panic. Who knows? But I have a very good friend of mine that I went to high school with, and he was when we were in high school, we were both in the vocational course, where we had a couple classes at the high school, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. And then we were bused to a vocational school where kids can learn auto body, bricklaying, welding, carpentry, medical assistance, photography, appliance repair, things of that nature. I worked I took 3 years of computer-aided drafting and design. I actually worked on one of the first CAD computers designed by IBM for 3 years. Loved it. My friend Bobby, he loved photography, and he took the vocational course in photography and film. And that led to a career for him. And he owns an absolutely phenomenal photo studio where I live. And he has a daughter. And this is going back about 4 years now. And I had asked him, I said, hey, listen, is there any way that you could help me out with trying to clear up some photographs? This goes back all the way to 2016, 2017. He asked me what kind. I said, well, look, I'll email them to you. And I emailed him the photographs, and he said, what the hell are these? Then after several conversations, I explained to him what was going on, what I was finding. He thought I was a kook. He thought I was pulling his leg on some of this stuff. And he has some pretty good photo software himself, because he has a very, very professional photo studio. So his eldest daughter wanted to follow in his footsteps. But she also kind of fell in love with forensics. And she was in her last year of college, and she was a criminal justice major, and she also had these other courses of studies that revolved around photo and film forensics. Well, she ended up graduating, and she ended up getting a job with a, oh man, I better watch what I say here, but I'll spit it out anyways. She got a job as a forensic kind of investigator, photo forensic investigator, kind of a lab tech type person for a, oh man, I better watch what I say here. But anyway, she works for a federal law enforcement agency. And she's out of state, not in my state. She had to relocate for her position. And this one Thanksgiving, when she came home to visit her family, she saw her father looking at some email photographs and video of coronagraphs that I had sent him. And she said to him, "What are those?" And he told her. And he also told her what we were working on, and we were having some problems with, the data and clearing it up. And she said, "Well, you know what, Dad? I might be able to help you out with that." And then, a few weeks went by. She went back to the city where she is employed, and she had called her father, and she said, "Hey, Dad, do you think you could email me some of those files that Scott sent you? I think I might be able to clear those up with the software that I use here at work." And Bobby sent the some video data from the coronagraphs and some still photographs. And then she discovered a way, because I gave her, again, I gotta watch what I'm saying here, folks. Let's see here. How can I word this so I don't blow myself up? Anyways, I showed her where the video data comes from. Okay. A few more weeks went by, and she sent some still photographs and some video back. Shit that I've never seen before, and how clear it was. I was blown away. This type of forensic photography and video, it's almost like using a CT scan, where you could literally peel back layers of static. She tried to explain it to me once before. It was a little bit over my head as far as the technical jargon. Video, same thing. Nowadays, they can take video from a CCTV video camera that's on a building or something like that, and they can lighten it up, they can clean it up, they can make it crisp, they can turn it into high definition. Same thing with old video. I mean, look, they did it with the Zapruder film from the JFK assassination. And that was old 8mm film. But with this modern technology, we've been able to uncover a lot. We've been able to uncover the truth. And she's a very smart girl. Bobby, absolutely phenomenal photographer. Absolutely like one of the best. And as the years went by, and they started to see these changes going on with the Earth, with our weather patterns, and they're watching the videos that I'm putting out, and they're understanding more and more and more about what I'm talking about. And then an upgrade on this software came into effect. And this upgrade was just blew me away. So this video that you've been staring at and all this static on your screen for the last few minutes as I babble along here, you're going to see what the actual true data that we're able to extract, This is the data that these sumbitches, these helio scientists that work for the government, you're going to see what they actually see as the feeds come back from the satellite probes that monitor the damn sun. So yeah, we've been deceived like we always have been. They don't give us the true quality or what's actually being seen by these camera systems that are on these spacecrafts, these space probes that monitor the damn sun. And you know, if a lot of you have been longtime followers, you've heard me constantly bitch and complain about missing data. You know, the little time clock goes from 1,400 hours to 2,200 hours. Well, where the hell's the missing data? Well, now we know. They don't want you to see it. So there's not much you can do with the public feed data. But when some little genius figured out a way to, again, I got to be very careful what I'm saying here, but whenever this very intelligent individual found out a way to actually get the unedited feed that the public doesn't see, and then that data, even though it is moderately, I'd say, as she put it, moderately encrypted. Ooh, I better watch what I say. Anyways, look. Okay, so if you're able to extract the real data, and you have a means, a technical means to decipher, or as she calls it, putting it back together, because it's scrambled. And here you go. What you're about to see is you're about to see this data unscrambled, put back together, and what is really there will be shown to you. And it's quite intriguing. Now, this was time-lapsed, okay, because this type of process takes hours. That's one of the only throwbacks, is the way that this is processed takes hours. Sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And then we're able to get the still photographs. Most of the time, the definition is pretty damn good, because if you've been watching this channel at least for the last 3 years, you've seen it. And things are actually getting a little bit better. Watch this. This is a screen capture of what it looks like when this program is putting all of this back together, so we can see, so we can really see what is there. Now check this out. And this is just about maybe 6 weeks ago. And again, this is time lapsed. So I think that this was almost 7 hours of data being extracted. It's all, I guess, as the way it's explained to me, it's completely like a puzzle. You know, it's all messed up, and you or the computer systems, they have to put it back together. So it's like you opened up a brand new puzzle in a box, you dumped it onto the table, and now you have to put it together to get your picture, to get your puzzle completed. So I have never seen this before. Okay. When I was sent this screen capture, I was completely blown away. Because there's no other way to do this if they are cutting out parts of the coronagraph feeds that hold the evidence. I mean, for something that is 93 million miles away, being photographed by space probes that have been out there in space for a couple of decades, could you only imagine the newest technology that has been launched to the sun, the Parker Space Probe, the Solar Orbiter, the James Webb? Okay? We don't get public feeds from these spacecraft now, do we? And that is the latest technology that is probably not available to the general public. That technology is on those space probes. Why all of a sudden, in the course of several years, these last several years, why all of a sudden has NASA wanted to go out there and, as they say, we're sending a probe out there to kiss the sun? So they have one orbiter orbiting the sun in one way, and then they have the solar orbiter orbiting the sun in another way, and then now you have the James Webb spacecraft, space probe out there. Again, with the best photographic, telescopic technology on the planet. And we're still using technology that's damn near 20 years old. And look what we're able to see. Could you only imagine? And you know, it all came together when the Solar Orbiter and the Parker Space Probe hit their points, started their orbits. All of a sudden, everything in the media started coming out about climate change. See, folks, to be a good investigator, a good researcher, you got to put that 2 and 2 together. And that whole talk about this climate change, global warming, sea level rise, drought, more powerful storms, the North Pole, the Arctic ice melting, massive glaciers, fissures breaking off in Antarctica, some of them the size of Manhattan or Long Island. You know, if you've been watching and listening, all of this came about all of a sudden. And it all came about after those 2 space probes, the Solar Orbiter And the Parker Space Probe settled in their orbits and started transmitting data back. Those people, they know what is going on. I know for sure in my heart that they have the best damn photographs. And I know that those probes have instruments on them monitoring and recording what this damn object is. Folks, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we had the technology to send a probe to the sun. Why didn't we? Think about it. Why all of a sudden, within the last 5 years, within the last 3 years, they had to, as they say, send these probes out there to the sun to kiss the sun. Those were the headlines. Yeah, those folks that work in these agencies, they're smart. Yeah, they're pretty damn smart. They built these damn probes. They built the technology that's on them. But don't ever underestimate us. People that seek the truth, because we're all on this planet together. We all live here. So I think we all should have the right to know what's happening. Don't you? But even though they may be as smart as they are, maybe they don't know what the hell to do. There are so many things going on this planet right now with the migration of human beings. Like they keep talking about, the U.S. southern border, Mexico, the United States, all of these people coming over. Okay. Is there a possibility that they know something that we don't? Is there a possibility that South America may possibly be destroyed? What would happen? Would it be flooding? Would it be something, from the sun? What the hell is going on? See, the same thing happened in Europe with Middle Eastern countries. And all of those folks being dropped off in all of these European countries. Thousands and tens of thousands of people from the Middle East being flying into all these countries, under the cloak of darkness, and transplanted. I mean, it's like almost like a Noah's Ark. What the hell is going on? Because none of these things are normal. Something very, very strange is happening. And you know as well as I do that when it comes to governments, call it a conspiracy, call it whatever the hell you want. Now they're just doing it right in front of us in plain sight. Yeah. I've been very thankful for the help that I've been given in this endeavor. You know, look, you got a bunch of other YouTubers out there that talk about Nibiru and Zachariah Sitchin, and they show you these lens flares, and they come up with these damn stories. I know that probably, you know, maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe a lot of that stuff was kind of put out there to, you know, draw you folks into another direction, so that you really never learn the truth, so that you really never see the truth. And then here comes me. You know, one guy trying to put it all together, and eventually does. And with the help of some absolutely phenomenal technology, and we used, I better watch what I say, but I'm going to say it anyways. And I've said this before. We've used their technology to expose them. And we've used their technology to expose the damn truth. And I will continue to do so, because I feel every human being on this planet deserves the right to know. We are human beings. This is our planet. This is where we live. And folks, this has been going on for decades. Decades. There's no denying it. No more denying it. So I'm going to break out of this for a second. And we are going to go, and we're going to take a look at the latest images. Now, this is from 4/19, okay, April 19th. Remember, I told you, folks, that this object was going to be coming down here, dropping below the ecliptic, coming back up here. We had the recent photographs as the object was right here, moved up, and on the 19th of April, bingo, right there at the 3 o'clock position, right where I said it would be in its 28-day orbit, okay? And we saw the massive coronal mass ejection that occurred. We saw the disturbance, and these coronal mass ejections have been a godsend, because when the coronal mass ejections occur, we know that something is happening. We know that there is an interaction between that massive object and the sun. Because, I mean, maybe they're similar. I don't think that thing is a star, but it could be a dead core, a dead star. The core of a star that has such a powerful magnetic field that that interaction with the sun is what causes the coronal mass ejections in the specific areas on the sun consistently. Not just this year, not just last year. For the last, hell, almost 4 or 5 years now. But it's been as each year has gone by, I have really honed in on it, documented it. Thousands of videos on this YouTube channel. It blows me away, man. It blows me away. Finding another massive body in our solar system would blanket any freaking news on this planet for decades. But you know how it is. When these governments don't know about something, they fear it. And when they fear it, they lie. They lie to us. They cover it up. And there's not much we can do unless we literally investigate and research, just like the UFO community. Blows me away, man. Here's a blown up version. And again, you know, a little slight blur, but no pixelization. We're looking at the Cactus, and the Cactus is an actual coronagraph program itself. So if you're able to extract data from another program and then translate it, put it back together, hint, hint, then you just broke open the truth. Yeah. Very interesting. Slightly blurry, but again, the resolution from the Cactus coronagraph isn't that great. But it's good enough to clearly see what's there. And the timing, well, that was right on the money. I'm just going to flip to this next picture because this was produced in a negative format, which allows us to see hot and cold regions. And that object is pretty damn hot. Yeah. That's what I thought too. This is just another version. Oh Christ! Another version. Yeah, another version of this virgin object that is wreaking havoc on the sun. Now, so we go from this 3 o'clock position on the 19th. Let's see some of the newest data. I think I might be jumping a little ahead there. This is what I wanted to show you first off. This is the 19th. You have your position right here, 3 o'clock position. Right here, you have the 25th of April. Looky, looky, looky what we got there. And for some reason, because there wasn't a coronal mass ejection that occurred right there at the time, you see how much more clarity there is. You see all of the particles, these little black and white and gray dots. That's matter. Coronal mass ejection occurring on the back side of the sun here. It looks like it's coming from the side, but this coronal mass ejection was coming from the back side of the sun. What do we got right there? This came from the LASCO C2. This was on the 19th. This was another coronagraph. This corroborates what we just saw on the 19th on the Cactus program. And again, the colored X's or the plus symbols in blue and red, that shows you the direction of the coronal mass ejection. What's leading out in front Bingo. And look at this, how it's encapsulated. Pretty crazy. And we've seen that over and over and over and over again throughout the last couple of years, as the technology that we're using is allowing us to literally reveal what's actually there. And you're not getting this on the public feed for us to see. Yeah, very interesting. And then we have a second photograph that was about a day later, not even a full day. And looky what we got there. Now, again, these large coronal mass ejections that you're seeing back here, okay, that's not coming from the side. That's not coming from the eastern limb of the sun. That's behind the far side back here. And looky what we got there. What's creating the disturbance? Because you can see, well, let's just zoom in on that. That's as far as I can go. So what do we see? We see this object now, the directional plus signs, that's showing us the direction of this coronal mass ejection. Plus sign here, plus sign here. This is the direction as it expands. You see the same kind of white lines on the Cactus program that outline the directional way the coronal mass ejection is going. But again, we're just kind of looking at a one-dimensional photo. What caused all of this? What caused all of that? So here we are today, and this object should probably be somewhere damn near right up here. And the way that I've been detecting things over the years is that the object kind of slows. It kind of slows down as it comes back around the sun here. Because remember, this black disk isn't the sun. The sun's a little bit smaller. This is just the occulter. It is a black disk inside of the telescopic camera lens that blocks out the rays of the sun so we can see the coronal mass ejections. That's what these camera systems were developed to do. Little did they know that that would be the key component to uncovering and literally seeing for the first time, for public viewing, that object that we call Planet X. And it's really not a planet, I don't think. I'm sure they know by now probably what the composition is, possibly, because they already know what the composition of Jupiter is, and Venus, and blah, 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 and Saturn. And you know, here's something else, folks. We probably don't know that maybe, I'm sure they did launched other spacecraft or space probes that we never knew about, that weren't named, that are out there floating around and collecting data. Interesting, isn't it? Blows me away. In all these years, there's never been a dull moment. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Here you could see that on the Cactus in a negative, and these were the directional lines I'm talking about on the Cactus. That outlines the directional movement of that coronal mass ejection. And we could zoom in on that. And there you go. All of that matter being ejected, all of that radiation, and And eventually, as these active regions, start to face the Earth more frequently, pretty much on a daily basis, now that the sun is moving into this solar maximum, that means more activity on the sun, and then the interaction between the sun and that object increases. So that puts us more and more into the bullseye danger zone. Could we have blackouts? Could we lose internet? Could we lose cell phone communication? Folks, we already are. You just don't know about it. It's happening all over the planet already. Already. I was a victim of it just last week. When I mentioned it, I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails. They're still coming in. People telling me that they also had temporary blackouts, no cell phone service, no internet service, that they can tell something was up. Yeah. And I'm going to let this out. The company that I have been working for years builds and develops massive transformers that are shipped and installed all over the world. And for the last 3 years, the damage to these massive transformer stations has overwhelmed this company. And new technology is being developed, but it is no match for the power of the sun. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're looking at. There is no way to protect the Earth's electrical grid from the sun. There is no way. I worked, as of yesterday, I worked in this field. I worked with engineers from all over the world. From their mouths to my ears, to your ears, there is no way to protect Earth's electrical grid from the sun. And the levels of radiation are increasing. And we are only in the beginning. Stay the hell out of the sun. protect your children, use common sense. One day it's going to happen. It could be tomorrow. It could be a month, a year, or a decade from now. The way I look at it, we're looking down the barrel of a double-barreled shotgun. I'm kind of contemplating what's going to occur this summer. I'm already seeing signs of very, very severe drought that's going to occur in certain parts of the world. Flooding, super cells of torrential downpours, which will create catastrophic flooding, will occur. Mark my words. We just have to be knowledgeable. We have to be on our toes. We need to have that knowledge. That knowledge is our power, and we cannot allow it to be taken away. Yeah. I'll use the word blessed to be able to break through with technology to reveal what's actually happening out there. And I'll be quite honest, folks. There's points in time over the last several years that I actually fear for my own safety. Because maybe I'm talking a little too much. Maybe I'm showing all of you too many things. And then I think to myself, okay, what the hell would I do keeping all of this to myself? What type of human being, what type of man would I be? For all of the people that are awakened, not woke, for all of the people that are awakened and that listen to this information and start to understand it more and more. We will be the ones that will understand it and not fear it so much. We'll probably be the ones to, survive a major catastrophic event. And what will we do? We will help our fellow man and woman. Why? Because we had the knowledge. And that knowledge created that power. And I will go on. There's always going to be a fight. Just like the fight to try to get Dr. Albers better, or at least to a point where her quality of life is better. I know this video was a lot to take in, but I know each and every one of you that have been following my work for years or even months, I know that you're understanding more and more. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Well, folks, now that I've got myself all worked up, I'm going to try to catch a few hours of sleep and hope for the best. If any of you would like to, again, help out with contributions to help out with Dr. Albers' medical fund, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated, especially after me being terminated for not allowing some individual to inject poison into my freaking bloodstream. I will be hot on the job market first thing in the morning. I do have some avenues that I'm going to look into first thing in the morning, and I'm hoping for the best. You know, it's a matter of survival right now. You know, food on the table, bills paid. Hell, if worse comes to worse, I won't have any internet access. I won't be able to show you folks what's there if they shut the cable off, if they shut the internet off. All of these things are possible. Who the hell knows? I may be targeted again. I'm hoping not. But anyways, if anybody does want to help out with the contributions for Dr. Albers' Medical Fund, that's greatly appreciated. You could use the link in the description box under the video. And if you can't, hey, listen, folks, I know what's happening out there in the world. Things are getting tougher and tougher as each day goes by. If you can't make a contribution, say a prayer. You know, say a prayer for the both of us, and let's all hope for the best. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Always stay tuned to Planet X News. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Make sure you thumbs up the video, which helps the video's algorithms with YouTube. And always pay close attention to that community link on the Planet X News homepage here on YouTube, because I do post a lot of information on there that's related to daily activity, solar storms, and things going on with the sun and whatever may be hitting headlines across the globe. So listen, folks, God bless each and every one of you. And I'd like to say thank you, a big, big, big thank yous out there to a lot of folks who have contributed to Dr. Albers' Medical Fund. God bless all of you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I've read a lot of emails coming from you folks that have, quite a few of them have choked me up. I don't want to get into them on this video because I don't want my voice cracking. But you know who you are, each and every one of you. And thank you. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please share the video also. If you can, that would be greatly appreciated. Stay safe and stay tuned to Planet X News. Take care, folks.